Today's episode is brought to you by Mazars. SoundCartel. The Optus data breach has opened a huge can of worms. Not only are thousands of customers getting legal advice, but regulators are now looking at tightening security laws. In a world where cyber attacks can happen to any business, and they do, what should you do if your data, website or software are compromised? From SoundCartel, I'm Nicole Goodman, and this is Business Essentials Daily. Adam Selwood is the co-founder and chief technical officer of Cinch Security. He says it's important to make sure that your insurance covers you for any losses. I spoke to Adam just before the massive data breach, and he's explaining the first steps a business should take if they find they've been attacked.
First thing to do is to report it to someone. Don't try and do it all yourself. Now, it depends on your business, on who you would report that to. Every business in Australia, at some point, if you do experience an incident, you should think about reporting it to cyber.gov.au. So they have a service there where you can report it. That will connect you up to someone if it's appropriate within the government or the police, though I wouldn't expect or bank on that being the answer to how to actually solve stuff out. So then it'll be about who you've got access to and who you can work with within your business. Now, it might be to your IT support partner, so certainly get them engaged quite early. And we actually talk about cyber insurance. Primarily, it's in that scenario where you have an incident and you need access to an expert to help you with things. That's where cyber insurance is really, really valuable. Now, it's unlikely that you'll have coverage under existing policies. So if you don't have a dedicated cyber insurance policy, you may not have access to that type of service. But contacting your insurer is a really important first step in most situations. There are other government agencies and associations and organisations you may be obligated to report things to. So the Office of the Australian Information Commissioner, if you have anything personal that's compromised, you need to report to them within 30 days. If you're part of certain supply chains, if you're in defence, you may need to report within 48 hours or 72 hours in some instances. But if you don't know who you need to contact, you should probably be talking to a lawyer or having a chat to some of your clients and understanding whether or not you have other obligations. There are a growing number of them at the moment.
Should I pay a ransom if it's demanded, Adam?
That old chestnut. That's a good fun question, isn't it?
Yeah.
The cybersecurity professional in me says that you should never pay the ransom, but businesses pay ransoms. This is a thing that does happen. But before you ever consider paying anyone, again, that's where you really need to be seeking legal advice, ideally engaging with someone who's experienced in this space.
You have advocated for an audit of a business's processes and technology, and Cinch Security actually walks people through a cyber fitness check on your website. Can you tell us a bit about that and why it's an important starting point?
A lot of organisations think cybersecurity, I'll get an auditor in, they'll come through, they'll give me a report, I'll get a big checkbox list of stuff that I need to do, I'll pay someone to do that, and then I'm done. The reality is that the circumstances change too rapidly. And even if you were to go and pay the $10,000 to get the audit report, that'll just highlight $50,000 worth of work and effort that you're probably never going to be able to get around to doing. And then you'll need to do that again in 12 months when things change. So you do an assessment, understand what technology you have, do a little cyber fitness checkup. Takes about 10, 15 minutes, super simple. And then off the back of that, you're off to the races. But until you've done that exercise, you really don't know where you're at or where to focus because there's literally hundreds or thousands of things to do.
It is an important first step. With money as tight as it is across the board at the moment, will doing this be a huge outlay for businesses?
Not with us. What I just described there is completely free. So any business can go in and sign up at cinch.com.au, go through that free checkup. The question then is how much do you want to invest on the other side of that? So if you've identified a bunch of things, some gaps, and you need to, depending on how sophisticated your business is or what compliance obligations you have, that's really where you may need to invest a little bit more in certain things. But for many businesses, actually just going through some of our free advice and whatnot will actually make a big difference. One of the things we do is we break everything down into exercises or actions you can take in 5 minutes or less, and they're all plain language. So we never want to overburden you with having to have an IT degree to be able to go in and actually secure your business. It's not necessary. If you want some support and help, we focused on small businesses and we focused on making that affordable. We start at $29 a month. You can get all of our advice and access to our team. But we also want to work with and support you and your relationship with your IT support partner. So really making sure that relationship and everyone involved in that has got the best intentions of the business in mind and that things are heading in the right direction, and then you can track and see where your progress is being made. Guaranteed there's something you could be doing right now, but understanding and finding that one thing that you can be doing can be tricky. So that's sort of where we play.
That was Adam Selwood, co-founder and Chief Technical Officer of Cinch Security. This episode of Business Essentials Daily is produced by the team at SoundCartel. Thanks for listening. I'm Nicole Goodman. We'll bring you more Be Daily tomorrow. Follow @BE Daily Podcast across social media and head to bedaily.com.au for more from the Business Essentials Daily podcast. SoundCartel. This episode was brought to you by Mazars. To find out more, visit mazars.com.au. That's mazars.com.au.